Sports on Tap is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group with Dobie Real Estate, Jason Stiltner at Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment, Land & Sea Motorsports.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Welcome to the first episode of Sports on Tap Game Day. We're here to break down all the Week 1 matchups this week and also give out fantasy advice for any last-minute changes that you may want to make to your lineup. But first, before we get into any of that, as you may know, yesterday was the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and we just want to take a minute here to remember those that lost their lives that day. Also, we'd like to thank the first responders who did everything they possibly could to help survivors and just everything they possibly could do. So again, we just want to say thank you to those guys, and obviously it's one of the biggest tragedies ever. And it's incredibly sad.
And we just kind of want to acknowledge it and remember it. Yeah. And that's that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I think you hit it right on the head, man. Thank you.
Yep.
To everybody that did anything that day. And our hearts go out to anybody who lost anybody and anybody who passed away that day. And to me, the best way we can honor those that were lost in 9/11 is to try to live every day like it's, September 12th.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was, there was no race, no gender, no political side. In the end, it was the only thing that mattered was each other.
Yeah,
and
we were actually united.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, it was Americans first and Americans forever, and that's the way we need to continue to live, man. So
absolutely. Now,
well said, boys.
So. On to Sports on Tap Game Day, which I am fucking pumped about. And if you see me twitching behind me, it's because I'm trying to get the levels right on our new mixer, which is going to be a chore. It's significantly bigger. It is not just a mixer; it is a board.
Yeah,
it is a board.
Yeah,
so
we got a real board.
Yeah, it's definitely a beast comparative to the one we've been using previously. So.
Yeah.
Once we get it figured out, which it shouldn't take too long, but we will eventually get it figured out.
Yeah, and it's all tweaking. All the levels are different. There's a lot of different levels to adjust.
Right,
so if I'm twitching over here, that's why. I'm not. I don't have Tourette's or anything. So.
All right.
All right. First up, boys, I think the first game we're going to get into is the Seahawks and the Colts.
Okay.
And did you guys want me to throw out some just the betting lines here for that game real quick before we get into we'll do that first and then we'll get into all the fantasy
sounds good
stuff.
Yeah, do it up.
Cool. So the betting lines in this game, Seahawks are -3 and 79% of the money is on the spread is coming in for the Seahawks in this game. Over-under's at 48.5. That's about 50-50 split on that. And then 76% of the money is coming in on the money line for the Seahawks in that game. So basically all the money is on the Seahawks in that game. Oddly enough, I chose the Colts. So that just goes to show you what I have to think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's dive in fantasy
and
look at the fantasy aspects of this game here.
Yeah.
And you've got Russell Wilson, who they're looking for him to benefit from the new offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron's tendencies of more crossing patterns and more passing. So Russell Wilson's, this is going to be a big game for him to see what he's going to do. You know, it's a new offense, and they're saying they're going to let Russ cook.
Yeah.
That's
They've been saying that for how many years now?
Well, I mean, but this is a
say,
new offensive coordinator where they're literally saying now they're finally going to let him do his thing. We'll see. You're not wrong in questioning it.
I feel like they've been doing that for the past 3-4 years, letting him do his thing. And what has that gotten him?
They say they were going. They've said they were going
Right.
to, but I don't know how much they really let him just do his thing.
I don't know.
On top of the fact that he had no O line like the last
Oh, yeah,
2 years
it's been a
to even
disaster.
protect him
Yeah.
to do his own thing.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. I don't have a reason to believe that that's actually going to happen, but again, we'll see. If it does, then all right, good for him. If I get to do his thing, and maybe he'll want to stay in Seattle.
Yeah, and that's will they let him do his thing? And
Yeah.
will that pan out to more passing yards? Will that pan out to more points for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett?
Right.
And that's where we're kind of looking at right here is, well, that was you. I was like, it doesn't sound like my phone. When did my phone start doing that? You know, this is one of those kind of feel out games. If you have DK Metcalf, if you have Tyler Lockett, you have to play him. It's a decent matchup for him, and you can't sit. You drafted him to play him. You can't sit him.
Oh
right?
yeah,
I mean that's
obviously.
well, yeah, guys like that. Unless you have just a stacked lineup, I don't think you can sit those guys.
And
Right.
obviously, if you have Ross, you got to start him too. Cause
Absolutely.
that Indy defense is not great.
They were good last year, but again, he's a stud. You can't
Yeah,
sit him
you
against a
gotta-
defense that was even pretty good
Yeah,
to
you
good.
gotta start him.
You got to play him if you drafted him.
And I still believe the Colts are going to win this game, but which in turn means that Russ is going to have to throw a lot.
I agree.
So yeah, he's going to, for strictly fantasy purposes, he's going to put up.
So you and I are both on the opposite side of the money on this one. Then.
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to win. I absolutely think the Colts are going to win the game.
I think it's all three of us, to be honest. Because
Really?
the only thing I'm sitting here thinking, like fantasy-wise, like you said, Russ, Lockett, DK, they're going to get their points. Regardless of how many it is to be seen, but they're going to get points this week. What I'm interested in seeing is the Seattle defense we get this year.
Yeah.
That's going to be the difference maker.
That's a good point.
If Seattle's defense can get to the quarterback, Indy's O-line's a little bit beat up right now, they've got a shot at winning it, but I think ultimately the Colts offense can be much better than Seattle's defense this week.
All right.
Well, and when you look at it, as far as that Seattle offense, Xavier Rhodes was ruled out. So that means DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett have an even better matchup.
Right.
So again, those are guys you have to play. I don't think we're gonna beat that one to a dead horse or like a dead horse. It's just like you have to play those guys if you have them. It's a question mark as to what this offense is going to look like. That's the only thing in week one that we're looking at with that.
Yeah.
Now we turn our focus over to the other side of the football, and you've got Carson Wentz, who, by all accounts, is going to make his debut in a Colts uniform today.
That's what I hear.
So, and then you've got the second year Jonathan Taylor running back there, who second half of last season was just lights out.
Yeah,
He was.
Oh, yeah.
He
He was
was
a beast.
He was the beast we thought he was going to be when he came out of college.
Yep.
That backfield in Indy it's crowded, but it's got talent.
It's got depth. for
Yeah.
sure. It's got depth.
Well, they got Marlon Mack
good.
back there,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
on a lot of teams will be a starter, and
Right.
he's a backup. Then you got Naeem Hines, who is their pass catching back, who had a great year last year as far as catching the ball in the backfield. I think he had like somewhere near 60 balls out of the backfield. And then you've got the wide receivers, and Ty I think he's not playing; he's on IR. But you got Michael Pittman Jr., who came on at the end of last year, and who looked really, really good. So we'll see. Again, this is kind of a feel out game for this team as well, this offense as well. One, how does Seattle's defense look compared to last year? And as far as the offense of the Colts, can Carson Wentz rebound from being ruined in Philly? And I know, Chris, you're an adamant one to say no. And you're not. I can't say you're wrong. There's just some of us who still believe that it was Philly and not Carson.
Right.
Whereas the rest of that team though stacks up pretty well. They have a solid team.
Right.
Right.
I think this game it honestly just comes down to if Indy can control the clock running the ball, and Carson Wentz can just manage the game. They'll win. Simple as that. They'll win.
I think I completely agree with you there.
But if that doesn't happen, then they're gonna have an issue, and Russ is gonna do his thing, and the Sea Chickens will probably end up winning that game.
Frank, are you monitoring Twitch at all?
You know what? I had just jumped on there, and Andrew and BG, both two really good friends of mine, are going back and forth. But Andrew's calling the Hawks to win and cover.
Ooh.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And I want to give a shout out to Steve from Baldman Entertainment too. I saw he hopped on there as well.
Okay, cool.
And we appreciate the sentiment for the new show. Thank you for the appreciation, and thank you for being a sponsor. And you rocked it out yesterday at St. Hubert's beer tent. DJing there was fucking awesome. So good job over there, bud.
Nice
Nicely
work,
done.
Steve.
Check them out, Baldman Entertainment. All right. Anything else we got to say about this matchup, boys?
No.
I think this one's one of those. It's kind of all a question mark. Seeing how these two teams kind of come out after the offseason.
It's week one. It's going to be a lot of that, unfortunately, this week. We've got to see what these teams got.
Yep. All right. Next up, I think we're going to do the Cardinals and the Titans. Let's see the money on this one. It's a -3. It's -3 for the Titans, and 74% of the money is on that. Over under is 53.5, and most of the money is on the over in that one. About 66% of the money on that one, and 74% of the people, same as with the spread, are picking the Titans to win. I personally have the Titans to win. I actually put some money on them to win today.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, and I didn't. I did the -3 as well, so I didn't even do the money line. I did -3 on that one. I think they take this game.
Yep.
Just my opinion.
I think they take this game, but I think Kyler Murray has a big day. I think he has a monster day.
I would agree, but I think that's because the Titans are going to have such a big day. He's going to have to be throwing a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Kyler will have a big day.
Yeah,
He's going to throw the ball a lot.
I absolutely agree with that. Frank, anything to say about the line, or we'll get right into fantasy?
Yeah, I'd say we just jump into fantasy on
got
this
it.
one. This is, I'm not going to say this is an I don't care matchup, but this is one where it's two teams that aren't really an advertisement. They're not a marquee name.
They're not sexy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
They're not sexy teams. So it's a matchup that I look at and go, I'll probably take Tennessee. They just seem like a better team.
Right.
I think this is the year where the Titans become that sexy name.
Okay.
I think they finally people still doubt them after having a couple runs here with Vrabel. I think they become that household name.
In all honesty, I think they doubt him because of Tannehill. I mean, that's a guy you and I have both talked about. We've both been really high on since he was drafted.
Yeah.
But I think he's just still simply disrespected.
I don't disagree with that at all. He is. Because people still look at him like he's worse than Matt Stafford. Mm-hmm. And when you look at their numbers, Tannehill's actually better. And his numbers in Miami are included in there.
Yeah.
So.
And he's got a playoff win.
Exactly. But anyway, so that was just a needless shot at Stafford. But, fuck it. I like taking those.
I triggered Lions fans. Sorry.
No, man, they're in Super Bowl mode right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're already playing.
We
in the
haven't hit
parade.
kickoff for game one. Super Bowl.
They're already playing in the parade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I can't wait till we get to that game.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
It's going to be the quickest summary in the history of summaries.
Probably, yeah.
I got a few things to say about it. But so on this one, let's go look at the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Offensive side of the ball, you got Kyler Murray, who you already hit on, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a big day.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, last year he started the year averaging 32.3 fantasy points per game, which was number one among quarterbacks.
Right.
Weeks 1 through 10.
Yep.
He did have an injury in there, which kind of submarine that stat line a little bit. But he's one of the best in fantasy when it comes to fantasy. And again, he's one of those guys. If you drafted him, you're fucking playing him. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. He's got a really good matchup in this one. I believe he's going to go against Caleb Fairley, the rookie.
Oh,
more than likely.
Yeah.
And then they've got A.J. Green and Rondale Moore, who they drafted this year. So, along with Christian Kirk and guys like that.
What
so Murray's got a lot to throw to.
Terrible way to start your career.
Right? Right?
Your first NFL game, and you look across the field, and arguably the best receiver playing the game right now is over there.
Right.
Like,
But you know,
that sucks.
accept the challenge. Step up, dude.
Oh, and I love that, and I hope he does, and I hope he balls out. Like, nothing against Diop, but I couldn't care less about the guy. I hope this rookie does well, but man, that's a rough one to get out of bed on Sunday morning.
Yeah,
It's a bad way to start your career.
yeah.
It's just not a fun matchup for him. But when you look at the running backs, you got James Conner, who they got in the offseason from obviously Pittsburgh, and then they got Chase Edmonds, who for some reason everybody wants to just anoint him as the next all-around back, and he's had a couple years to kind of prove it, and he's shown spurts, but he hasn't actually proven anything. So we'll see what that backup matches out or comes out to. I don't really like either one of those guys fantasy-wise over the season, and I really don't like them today either. I mean that front four of the Titans is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So I don't necessarily like them in this game.
Like I think Connor, just because of the off year he had last year, and anybody who's played fantasy with me who's watching knows that I've always been a fan of quote unquote John Connor. I just think it's a situation of he's going into a new offense now. It's not that they're going to have issues moving the ball right away. It's that I don't know how familiar with things he's going to be. Like it's week one. It's just I feel like it's asking too much of starting players to know exactly what they're doing week one.
Right.
I think what we're going to see over the next few weeks is whether he is going to be the starting back there, whether he is going to be the backup. I know on paper he is the backup, but I think he's a guy who's kind of slept on still just because he had a rough year in Pittsburgh.
I don't know who said it, but somebody just said you reserve your comments for sexy teams. you choose not to.
That was Andrew.
Nice.
You reserve your comments for sexy teams. You
Yeah.
you don't bother making comments for unsexy teams.
I think that's fair.
I just
You're very picky with your comments.
when I go through and I look at the matchups, I look at it and go, okay, what not only do I care about, because truth be told, I'll find something to watch in this game. If this was the game that was on TV,
Right.
I'll find something to figure. Like I'll figure out a way to enjoy this game. But I look at it and go, it's not worth even looking at because it's just it's an average matchup.
Well, speaking of which, I didn't get into this yet. You know, for the first time ever, there's 4 games going to be nationally televised during the day-to-day. 2 on Fox, 1 and 4, and 2 on CBS, 1 and 4.
Really?
They've never done that
Is
before.
that right?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
normally, whichever one is showing the Lions game doesn't show either the 1 o'clock or the 4 o'clock,
Yeah,
depending on what time slot they're in.
Well, and in every time zone, one channel gets the double game.
Yeah,
You get a 1 and a
yeah.
4, and the other channel gets 1. That's it.
Right. And it usually ends up being the Lions game that they have.
Well, in this first week, for some reason this year, they're doing both channels, both stations get 2 games.
They
This
should
week.
always do this.
They should. I agree. The more football you can watch, the better it is for
Yeah.
your sport. Like
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. But yeah, today's going to be good for people who don't have the red zone, like we do. I just watch the red zone.
Yeah, same
but
here.
it's going to be a good day
You
of
know
football.
what? In all honesty, I was thinking about this on the way over here. Since I moved, I don't know if I still have red zone or not. And this is a really shitty day to realize that you don't know
Yeah,
whether you
say-
have it or not.
I can give you my login.
Yeah, so you may want to figure that out.
I mean, we know 1 o'clock what I'm watching.
Right.
yeah,
true,
yeah.
The
Yeah.
channel ain't changing.
Yeah, well,
That's true.
Sadly,
For at least a half, it's going to just stay there.
Well, you might not make it a half, but anyway.
Oh, no. This is the first game of the year. I can take some abuse today.
So anyway, so on to the other side of the ball here for the Titans on the offense. Frank, what are you looking at for this game as far as our boy Tannehill and the new offense with Julio?
It's going to be a feel-out thing, but ultimately, and it's no disrespect to Julio because at the end of the day, he's still Julio. But I don't think Julio is going to be their receiver this year. I think it's still going to be A.J. Brown. I just think Julio is going to be used, I don't want to say as a decoy because he's definitely going to put up numbers, but he's going to be looked at as almost a second option.
He's going to draw coverage.
Yeah.
And
if Julio Jones is my second option, like, yeah, I'm doing okay.
That's a
but-
good 2 options.
Right.
And he's going to be used big in the red zone, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree
he's
with
going
you
to
on
be
that.
utilized in the red zone, which both those
And
receivers.
he will. He'll hit the downfield stuff still.
He will.
I'm not going to put a number on it, but I'd say maybe a handful of home run touchdowns this year. Like, he's definitely not going to be.
I think he's going to have more than he had in Atlanta. Touchdowns. Because
I mean,
for some
going
reason, his
from
touchdowns
Matt
were always.
Ryan at the end of his career to Ryan Tannehill arguably starting the prime of it.
And for some reason, his touchdowns were always lacking in Atlanta. He always put up yards, always put up catches, but his touchdowns were always lacking. And I think that's going to be where he's going to excel this year, where if you drafted Julio, I think you put him in there and you expect, all right, well, his numbers might come down as far as catches, as far as targets, as far as yardage. But his touchdowns will probably go up because there's a lot more to concentrate on that team than just him. A.J. Brown is a very viable number 1 wide receiver who's very tall and very fast.
And the second you go double coverage on both the receivers, you just have a guy named Derrick Henry in the backfield that you also have to watch out for.
I'm glad you brought up Derrick Henry.
Who can go off for 200
Because
yards on any given
I think
fucking
he's
Sunday.
going to have a monster. I think him and Tannehill are going to have monster games. Because I'm sorry, I don't believe in that Arizona defense. I don't think it's that good. I don't care if he signed J.J. Watt or not. J.J. Watt is washed, in my opinion. I don't think he made that an already suspect defense that much better.
I completely agree with you. His signing isn't really that much of an upgrade. And when you're talking about Tannehill and Henry, I have Henry ranked as I have Tannehill ranked as my number 8 quarterback this week, truthfully, which is where he's going to fall in most weeks. I mean, he's got a lot of weapons on that team. And with Derrick Henry, I got him ranked as number 4 starter this week. So I think you hit it on the head with that one. I think the offense of Tennessee is going to have a huge week.
Yeah, I think that will absolutely happen.
And I think you start even Julio. So there'll be some weeks where I'll tell you I don't think you should start Julio. I'll never tell you not to start A.J. Brown. I'll never tell you not to start Derrick Henry. This is one of those weeks where I think you roll everybody out on that roster.
Yeah, and
roll 'em all
especially
out.
if you got both Henry and Tannehill on your fantasy team. I mean, link them up. You're gonna do all right this week.
And it's not even so like what you had said about JJ is spot on in my opinion. The other thing I look at though on the other side is Chandler Jones. And from the sound of things, he just doesn't want to be there.
No.
And if you're familiar with the Jones family whatsoever, like this is the brother of John Bones Jones.
Oh.
So like the attitude kind of runs in the family.
Got it.
So if this dude doesn't want to be there, he very well may not even like he'll be out there for snaps.
Right.
But he may not play for any of them. Like if he
may
genuinely
just be
doesn't
like,
want
"Fuck
to
it."
be there, yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. Just stand out there.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll see. All right, next game, boys. We're going to move on because we got a lot to cover here. I'm not trying to push the show along, but we spend too much time. We won't get to everything. But
Yeah, right.
we got the Jaguars and the Texans. I don't think we're going to spend too much time on this
I
game.
hope we don't spend any time in this game. You want to talk about not sexy? Not sexy.
It's not at all. So it's a -3 line here. Most of the money's on the Jaguars, a money line and the spread. I'm not going to go into all that. In the words of our betting expert, or our betting guru, Dan Yangam, he said, if you're betting on the Jaguars Texans, you need to go to Gamblers Anonymous.
You got a fucking problem.
You need to go to GA real quick.
Like,
So
who were the winners and losers of this game? Anybody who watches this game, loser. Simple as that.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Frank might watch a little bit of it.
I don't care.
I was gonna say I'll probably turn it on for a little bit just to check out what's going on with Trevor Lawrence to see.
Like America loses for this game being played. Simple as that.
I do think the Jaguars win this game. If I'm really being put up against it, I think the Jaguars win this game. But I actually did include it in one of my parlays as a game just to include it.
Right.
And I took the Jags, but maybe I need to go to GA. I don't know.
when the biggest talking point of a game is the quarterback who's not going to play, that's when you know the sexiness is not there.
It's not there.
So are we good with just kind of skipping this game? I do want to give a little hint of fantasy advice. If you're in daily fantasy leagues, I do think Trevor Lawrence and Marvin Jones are sneaky plays this week in daily fantasy.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw for probably 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns.
James Robinson.
Maybe 4. James Robinson's a good play, a very good play.
I think he's a solid
Even in
play.
regular, I think he's a good play. I agree with that.
Yep.
That Texans defense is not very good against the run. I think the Jaguars kind of run this score up a little bit, and I think Urban's going to want to run it up. So I think sneaky plays here are Trevor Lawrence, Marvin Jones. I don't so much like Shark, but Chenault is another one. And Chris, like you said, James Robinson, I think is a must start. I have him in a few actual fantasy leagues, and not even just daily. I'm throwing him out there with confidence, with pure confidence. But other than that, I think
Not often somebody can say that about Jags back.
Yeah,
I'm confident in starting a Jaguars running.
But I mean, look at the year he had last year.
Yeah,
like they're
you look
ever
at
in a position to run the fucking
and you look at the
ball.
team that they're playing today.
Yeah.
That might be the worst.
Well,
that team's gonna be
You're
so
being
bad.
very generous calling that a team.
That team's gonna be so bad.
And season-wise, I like James Robinson as well because ATN is out now.
Yeah.
And he would have taken away carries and touches. But James Robinson catches the ball out of the backfield, too. So even if they're behind, he's still in the game catching balls out of the backfield. He showed last year he can be the all-around guy. Carlos Hyde will probably steal some touches from him throughout the year, but he's still going to be the guy. And now that ATN is hurt for the year. So on the other side of the ball, sneaky play real quick, Brandon Cooks in daily. Not sure I'd start him in a regular league. Daily, he could go off.
Somebody's got to catch the ball.
They're going to be throwing all day. Tyrod Taylor's going to throw so much his arm's going to fall off and he's going to be hurt, and somebody else is going to start next week. But Brandon Cooks might be the beneficiary of that.
Then the Texans are going to win the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Because that's what happens with Tyrod's replacements.
They win the Super Bowl.
Not necessarily win the Super Bowl, but
Baker
they
didn't win the
go
Super
on
Bowl
to do
either.
great things.
I still think we spent far too much time on this game.
Yes. So next up, Minnesota and the Bengals. The line in this one is -3 for the Vikings. 71% of the money's on that. Over-under's at 47. 65% is on the over. And 75% of the money is on the Vikings all-around money line. Fantasy-wise, who wants to lead this one off?
I'll do it. Start Dalvin Cook. Simple as that. I think he's
I think if Dalvin Cook's on your roster and
Yeah,
it's
you gotta
anything
start
other
him.
than a bye week,
Yeah.
he better be
you
in
got to
there.
start him.
And to back that up, Chris, I think in daily fantasy,
Yeah.
which is you got to be more
Yeah.
strategic. I'm still rolling him out there in daily fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm paying that money for him on daily fantasy because I think he has a huge game. Huge.
When Dalvin Cook
Huge.
is 100% healthy, arguably the best back in football, in my opinion.
I don't disagree.
That's he's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with that.
It's him and CMC. But yeah,
Yeah.
he is to me they're 1A, 1B.
And I don't even
When
think
he's
we've
healthy.
seen everything from CMC yet. I think the second we pair him with a decent quarterback, we're going to see an even better player than
But that's
what
what
we
he's
see.
got to stay healthy too.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
Played 3 games last year.
You're right.
But as far as Dalvin, I completely agree.
Yeah.
with
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think
Like
he's
you-
gonna, yeah.
In regular fantasy, you got to start him anyway. If you drafted him that high,
Yeah.
he's a first-round draft pick. But just you should expect a monster game out of him today.
Right.
And in daily fantasy, I'm paying up for him. I actually think Kirk Cousins is a sneaky quarterback play, either in a 2-quarterback league or if you're playing daily. And Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, I think, have good days today. They both do. Normally, I wouldn't. Not every week will I tell you to start Adam Thielen because he was so touchdown dependent last year. But Justin Jefferson's a guy where you're going to start him every week anyway. But I would expect some good things from both of them today.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna have a solid day. I think today too.
I wouldn't touch that tight end spot. They got Tyler Conklin. They lost Irv Smith for the year, which was going to be he was going to be a big weapon for them this year. But Tyler Conklin, local kid, but I wouldn't touch that tight end spot right now. You got to see how it's going to shake out.
Right.
So a question I'm going to ask you guys every single week that I'm able to be here for the Sunday show.
Yeah,
Is this the week Joe Burrow gets hurt again?
I hope not.
you know what, I'm with. I echo that. I hope not because
I
I
hope
actually
not.
like the kid. He was playing out of his mind last year. He was playing very, very well last year when he got hurt.
Yeah.
But the question is relevant because they didn't do anything to that offensive line.
Literally had one job. You could not, and I mean, say what you want to say about the way the guy played in the preseason, Penei Sewell, but he was the pick for them. It was known he was the pick for them. They needed desperate help on
But
that
no,
O-line.
let's pick a wide receiver.
But they, right? Like, if that's not the most Detroit Lions move I've ever seen,
It's up there.
right?
Like
So I just look at it and go, okay, you did nothing to protect your franchise
Nothing.
quarterback. Did you bring in a new O-line coach that I didn't hear about?
Like,
Like,
look.
what did you do?
I got all these shiny new toys, but
Right.
you guy can't use them because he's hurt.
Yeah, I got a brand new car, but it's got no wheels.
Yeah.
And see that offense, it's so bad because that offense actually has weapons on it. Mm-hmm. You look at Burrow; he's proven he can be the guy.
Yeah.
It's got everything but an O-line.
Right. And you've got so they drafted Jamar Chase this year, who Burrow played with.
Yeah.
They have T. Higgins, who
And it's
had a
not
really good
just
year
that
last year.
they played together.
Right.
They had insane chemistry together.
Right. Yeah. It was, and during the preseason, it looks to be the same.
Yeah, it's still there.
And you've got T. Higgins, who developed a chemistry with him last year, who was very good. He's one of my main picks for this game on this side of the ball. I love T. Higgins in this game. Tyler Boyd's a sneaky play, but I love T. Higgins in this game. You also got Joe Mixon, who, without Gio in the backfield, has done really well.
Right.
And guess where Gio's at now?
Tampa Bay.
in Tampa Bay. So he's not there. I do like Joe Mixon season wide as being like a top 12, top 15 running back. I'm not sure I play him in this game. Minnesota's got a pretty good front four, front seven. But again, if you drafted him, you probably drafted him in the second round. You got to play him at this point, unless you drafted so well that you have another guy to play.
Yeah.
But just don't expect too much from him in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately that's fair just because of the O-line situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next game, Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All right. Minus 6.5 for Buffalo on this one. It's pretty evenly split on that one. It's 59% of the money going to the Bills at negative 6.5.
I think they cover. I think they will win the game. I think they'll cover.
Yeah.
I think the game.
And 76% of the money is on that money line. So
Okay. No, I do. I think I think they'll cover. Just Pittsburgh. I know they just re-signed T.J. Watt, which was huge, and like we talked about on our podcast, we didn't think that was going to happen. So
No.
to see them get that done, that was cool. But I just think Buffalo is just a better team, and the game's in Buffalo. So yeah, give me the Bills, and like I said, I think they'll cover.
I just saw a comment. Someone's running Burrow in DFS. I strongly agree with that. I would run Burrow in a DFS because for the money wise, you're down paying on that quarterback position a little bit to spend money elsewhere, and Burrow could have a good game. I'm talking about these two teams as far as fantasy goes. You got Najee Harris, who's by all accounts going to get all of the volume out of the backfield, whether it's the targets, the catches, the running, the carries. I don't know how much room he's going to have to run.
Exactly. I don't.
With that offensive line.
That's going to be the issue.
Yeah.
I know you again. He's a shiny new toy, and you may want to start him, but I would not start that dude.
Well, and the bad thing is for fantasy wise, I don't know if you know that he was basically a first or second round pick in a lot of leagues for depending on who you were drafting with.
He's just not going to see the volume.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's going to see volume. He's just not going to see quality volume. Like he's going to get all the carries and everything, but
Right.
He's not going to have any holes. Like I really doubt that team.
And personal opinion, I think they're going to have to be a second half throw heavy team.
Well, I would agree with that too.
So when I say the volume's not going to be there, compared to a winning team's back.
Right. Well, and he is a receiving back, so he might still get the catches. But yeah, no, I see where you're going with that one because I agree with you. I think they're going to be a very pass-heavy second-half team throughout this whole season.
When it comes to fantasy, it doesn't matter if your players are on good teams. It matters who puts up points. So if your guy's not seeing the ball that often in the second half, in my opinion, not that it's not worth taking the guy, it just puts a little damage on him as far as a starting running back, wide receiver, whatever the position is.
And if you have Big Ben as one of your starters,
then you're fucked already.
I'm sorry. like Frank just said, you're kind of fucked because.
Yeah, I have him ranked at 21 on my list of fantasy quarterbacks this week. So
that's not going to end well, man.
I don't like any of those wide receivers this week really. I maybe Juju and Deontay a little more than Claypool because they're going to dink and dunk a little bit more. I don't see them breaking this defense open down the field for Claypool. As far as dink and dunk and getting some receptions and maybe not a ton of yards, but if you're in a PPR league, maybe you run with Deontay Johnson still, maybe you run with Juju still, but I just don't necessarily see any of them having big games.
The other thing I question with Claypool on the year, though, is Ben's arm. Is it going to be a year where Ben can get the ball downfield?
Are we
looking at a situation like Drew Brees had last year?
Oh, yeah.
Or like Phillip Rivers.
Or Phillip Rivers.
Or Cam.
5-10-yard passes because they can't get the ball downfield anymore.
Is he going to have Juju to throw to? I mean, I know he's busy making TikTok videos and shit like that.
I think Juju can take a couple minutes off from TikTok.
Jesus, dude.
That whole team, you want to talk about a team that has fallen from greatness?
Yeah. And that's on the coach. I'm sorry. That's on Mike Tomlin.
I don't disagray with you on that.
That's on Mike Tomlin.
I've been a big Mike Tomlin
fan.
But
or fake Omar Epps. Sorry. But yeah, that falls on Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
That you let this shit go on, and it's turning your franchise into kind of a joke.
It is.
But
next, the other side of the ball, you got Josh Allen,
Yeah.
Finished 2020 as the number 1 fantasy scorer.
I think he's going to have a solid day. I don't think he's going to put up like huge numbers, but I think he's going to have a solid day. Because I think they're going to end up just running the ball in the second half. I really do.
Yeah, I honestly still have him. I agree with that. I honestly still have him as my number 3 quarterback.
That's fair.
For the week.
I think he's going to have a solid day. Nothing spectacular, but I think he's going to have a solid day.
That's another backfield, though, that I'm really liking.
Yeah.
It might be considered crowded, but
That's fine.
it's got
You
depth.
need it. I mean, look at what happened to the Ravens. You need fucking depth.
Well, and I think Moss takes a bit. Talking about the backfield, I think Moss takes a big step this year. I think
Yep.
Singletary becomes more of their Gio Bernard type.
Okay.
James White receiving back more. I think they run Moss a little more. And I think they run Moss a little more at the goal line rather than having Josh Allen run as much as he has.
And I'm perfectly fine with that.
Which
Yeah,
it would be
you're
smart.
at the point where we're talking. I'm not going to say generational talent at this point, but we're definitely talking best in history as far as what the Bills have had, and that's with names like Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
You got to protect them.
Yeah.
You do. You absolutely do. And I think Moss gets more run this year inside the 20. And as long as he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a decent year.
And-
I would if I had him on my roster, I think I might play him today because I think the
Yeah.
Bills get up in this game, and I think they end up running the ball a little more.
And that Pittsburgh defense is so suspect.
Right. And I think if you're looking to start a defense fantasy-wise, the Bills' defense is, besides the 49ers' defense, which we'll
Should
get
have
to
a
later.
really good day.
Yeah, I think the Bills' defense is gonna have a solid day today. They're gonna get you some points.
Yeah, I'll say I have him as number 7 on my list.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have the Bills' defense today, you probably are starting them
Yep.
and feel good about it.
Yep.
Feel good about it.
Nope.
All right. Anything else on that side of the ball, boys?
Nope.
Again, if you have Steph Diggs, you're playing him.
Well, obviously you're playing him.
You're playing. I just sometimes you got to tell people that because some people over question
They do,
fantasy.
yes.
And it's like
I did the other day to you when it came to my quarterback situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I have Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers, and you look at the matchups though.
I don't care what the
and
matchup is.
Hurts has a decent matchup.
He's got a great matchup, honestly, but
So that's where I would sit there and it's like, this is Rodgers, no brainer.
Yeah.
And then I look at it and it's like, but that's a good matchup.
I mean, I look at that.
I'm also the overthinker when it comes to
Right.
fantasy stuff.
You are.
That's why I talk to guys like Joe
Right.
because I know some shit, but I don't know a ton of
right.
shit.
I look at a matchup like that. Like how many more points is Jalen Hurts going to get you than Aaron Rodgers is? Like honestly, in that situation.
well, his ceiling is better, but his floor is also worse.
That's
so
yeah.
so like if you drafted Aaron Rodgers as your starter, like Jalen Hurts could put himself in that category this year. But those of us who back Jalen Hurts this year are banking on him hitting that ceiling and him rising.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is already there.
I'm just talking about
know what I
this
mean?
week. Like
This
I'm
week?
not-
Yeah.
I mean,
Rodgers has got New Orleans, and that made me question things too. Because if New Orleans is going to do anything this year, it's going to be on that defense.
and it's at a neutral site.
Well,
That's true. I didn't even take that into account.
let's put it this way. I have Aaron Rodgers ranked as my 5th best quarterback this week. You know where I have Jalen Hurts?
4,
7.
7. There you go.
They're right there.
So like I said, I don't
But
think
you start
Jalen
the
Hurts-
name.
Right.
You
I
start
don't.
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to get you that many more points that he's worth starting
Right.
over Aaron Rodgers. That's
Right.
what I'm
But
saying.
we say all of that to basically explain. There's people who overthink easy
Yes.
decisions.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
means start Steph Diggs. And another one in this game that I like, maybe more in daily fantasy, is Gabriel Davis. He's got a good rapport with Josh Allen. He's targeted in the red zone a lot, and I would, if daily fantasy, I would be fine taking a flyer on him, down paying for him to up pay on some other spots. So,
All right.
next game we have is moving on to Jalen Hurts' team, Philadelphia taking on Atlanta.
Eagles. This is another non-sexy game that I just don't give a fuck about.
This is 4 years ago an extremely sexy game.
Right.
And
Now?
now yeah.
Couldn't care less.
So it's a 3.5 spread for Atlanta. Actually, money is on the Eagles. 56% of the money's on the Eagles, getting 3.5. And the money on the money line is 56% for the Falcons. I personally would take, if I was taking this game, I would take the Eagles with the spread and the Falcons with the money line. But I'm not really going to touch this game. So
I wouldn't touch this game with anything, but give me the Falcons.
If I'm taking somebody, I'm taking Eagles, and then I'm actually probably playing the over.
yeah,
The over-under set at 48.5.
48.5. Yep.
It's not like we have two defensive powerhouses. It's just going to
No.
be two teams throwing the ball downfield the whole game.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would take the Falcons 100%.
All right, moving on to fantasy. Let's start with the Eagles and somebody who I've been touting all offseason. Frank knows this because he tried to snipe, but didn't try. He did. He sniped
I
him.
did. I
He
just
sniped him, and now
overpaid
he's
in the
kind of
process.
now he's kind of stuck with him as his backup quarterback. But I'm a huge Jalen Hurts guy this year, and the key to Philadelphia and the biggest question this year is going to be. It kind of revolves around what head coach Nick Sirianni does with Jalen Hurts, and can he put him in the best position to succeed? Hurts has shown last year in his limited time that he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he's that dual threat quarterback. Can Nick Sirianni put him in a position to succeed? And I say that laughingly because Nick Sirianni might quickly become the equivalent to me of Adam Gase.
And if you listen to our podcast at all, you know Joe's disdain for Adam Gase.
I'm just glad we got an Adam Gaze drop.
on the very first game day show.
Beautiful, yes.
I was going to start to get concerned if we didn't mention him at least once
Right.
on this show.
Oh man,
Yeah, Joe's disdain for Adam Gase.
Talk
is
about
pretty-
somebody
pretty
who
epic.
lives rent-free in Joe's head.
100%, yes.
That he does. My hatred for that man is inequivocal. So when you look at this game, I definitely start Jalen Hurts. I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
his talent. If you have him as your number one, you draft
Yeah.
him as that, you play him, and you look for big numbers because Atlanta's defense,
Yeah,
it's atrocious.
honestly, I start both the quarterbacks. I start Hurts and Ryan.
I do agree with you.
I think
Yeah.
they're both gonna have
Yep.
solid days.
Matt Ryan is another one that I put in the conversation with Roethlisberger right now.
He's washed.
Does he still have the
Right.
ability to do what he used to do?
Well, and this will tell you something for this game. I actually have Matt Ryan ranked at number 10 this week,
Okay.
fantasy-wise. I might not ever do that in the rest of the whole year. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
that's a good
It's a
good matchup.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's
like
a very good
talking about-
matchup
Like
for
we're
him.
just talking about with Hurts. It's a good matchup.
Yeah.
100% it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think both those quarterbacks
And
have big days.
A guy that I'm super high on when it comes to young talent, Calvin Ridley. Like Matt Ryan does have
Yes.
some talent
Yep.
when
Yes.
it comes
Yep.
to receivers.
Yes,
So-
on the Eagles side of the ball, I really don't think you start much of anybody. If you want to take a flyer on Devontae Smith in DFS, or maybe if you have him on your team, you want to take a flyer on him. It's going to be a shootout, so maybe you do that. But other than that,
And again, chemistry.
chemistry. Well, and so I like Zach Ertz in this game better than I do Dallas Goedert, honestly. And Zach Ertz is somebody I'm putting in my fantasy DFS lineups. He's kind of thought of as a castaway there, but
It's sad because
yeah.
he's honestly one of the better tight ends. in
he
football.
is. And Jalen
I-
Hurts targeted him more in the preseason than Goddard.
I think you're going to end up in a situation, though, where, well, I don't think. I know we're in a situation with him where he was kind of seeing his way out of town, and then that didn't happen.
Right.
I think, honestly, it's going to be a situation where he kind of becomes their Cinderella again. I think he's going to have one of those years where it's not going to be a historic year. It's not going to be anything, where we go, oh, my God, this is one of the greatest performances in tight end history. But I think when it comes down to it, he's going to be one of the few bright spots that team's going to have.
I would actually tend to agree with you, and I think Devontae Smith is going to be pretty good this year as well.
Yeah,
but,
oh, yeah.
But when it comes down to I really do like Zach Ertz this year to kind of show more than he's shown the last couple to kind of show that he is one of the better tight ends in the league. Other side of the ball, you hit on it, Frank. Calvin Ridley, you start him.
Oh, that dude's
fucking
gonna
start
have-
him.
yeah,
he's gonna have a huge day.
Yeah, he is.
First of all, you drafted him probably second round, first round.
Yep.
Or second round, third round. You start him, no matter what. But in this game, you start him with confidence, and I think he's going to ball out in this game.
And it just leads back to the point of that's why Matt Ryan's going to have a monster day.
Yeah.
I think both of them are going to have.
And I think
games.
Atlanta made the smart decision by moving Julio to allow Calvin to take over.
Hey,
Take that next
Because
step.
I had him last year as a fantasy owner.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating at times because Julio had plenty of great games.
Yep.
And it's like, if you just let the young dude eat, he's going to go.
Yep.
Now we finally get to see if this kid is, the Alabama wide receiver that a lot of guys before him have become.
Right.
Pete Breeze says, rumor has it Uncle Rico will be starting for the Bears tonight instead of the Fire Crotch.
I mean, that's not exactly.
I didn't know they had Uncle
I
Rico.
said that's not exactly a downgrade.
So wait a minute, we're still not starting Justin Fields?
Right.
that dude could throw a ball a quarter mile, man. Let's go.
He can throw it over the
He can
mountains.
throw it over those mountains. Let's go.
Back to Atlanta.
Whatever keeps Fields off the field, I'm down for it.
Yeah, we know that.
It's like your hatred for Justin Fields is like his hatred for Adam Gase.
Nah, it's not that bad.
Jesus.
He's an Ohio State guy. Why would you like him?
Right.
See, for me,
I nothing him. He's there.
Yeah, for me, that hatred and animosity stops when they graduate. Like when they get to the NFL, I forget all about that shit. I really do.
Oh,
But yeah.
big Terrell Pryor fan.
I actually was when he played for Cleveland. He did pretty well as a wide receiver for Cleveland.
Yeah. You know where he's at now?
Was he getting stabbed by his girlfriend or something like that?
I think he did actually.
Yeah.
He's on Jacksonville.
Is he really?
And last I checked, he was on Jacksonville's roster. Uncle Herb.
He had a
Uncle Herb's going to take care
Yeah,
of
that's
his.
true.
He had a decent year at playing wide receiver for
Yeah.
Cleveland, and then went somewhere else for more money and failed.
It was like 7 games or something. It wasn't even a full year that he played. It was just out of nowhere
And
at the
he
end of the
excelled.
season. Yeah. And did he go to... He did. He went to Oakland after that.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah.
It was either he went to Oakland after that or he got drafted by Oakland in the supplemental draft. I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was a
But either way, yeah, when he was in Oakland, he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he had a single catch.
I think it was a
I
supplemental.
don't think he did actually.
Okay.
Well, he might have had a catch, but so Atlanta, I do like Mike Davis in this game, and I think if you drafted him for year wise, I think you're going to roll him out as being a kind of a top 15 back every week. He's going to get the volume. He's going to get the catches. When it comes, Gallman is now in that backfield. They just signed him. I don't think Gallman takes too much away from him. He might take a little bit away, but I think Mike Davis still has a pretty good year for where you draft him in fantasy. And for today, I would start him feeling pretty confident in this game. He's going to get the volume, whether it be carries or targets. Anything else in this one, boys? Oh, Kyle Pitts. You drafted him to play him.
Do it.
I wouldn't always say he's your best option every week, but this week, play him. It's a great matchup.
Yep.
He could be sneaky. I did take him in one of my leagues. He wasn't the only tight end I took in that league, but you've got a ball that's got to get passed around.
Yeah.
And as high as I am on Calvin, he can't catch the ball every time.
And they've got Russell Gage there too,
Yeah.
who might DFS or if you don't have many wide receivers, you kind of drafted elsewhere. Maybe think about playing Russell Gage in this game because it is such a cheery matchup. Next up is the matchup that we've been waiting to talk about, the 49ers and the Lions. and I know we've been waiting with just Super Bowl, just fucking bated breath to talk about this game.
Forward down the field.
I will
baby.
tell you that the spread is -9 for the Niners right now.
Is that right?
And 84% of the money is on the Niners with that -9. 92% of the money is on the money line for the Niners. If you're playing in Survivor pools, I would suggest taking the Niners as your first week option because if you don't make it past the first week, what's the point of saving that team for later matchups?
Right.
And they're playing the Lions. And Raheem Mostert will go all over this, will run all over this fucking team all day long, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, that's where the money's at on that one. Do you boys have anything to add to that?
No, the Niners are going to win. They're going to cover, and whether it be Jimmy G or Mostert, they're going to have monster days. That's absolutely what's going to happen. I'm sorry, Lion fan. This is a bad football team. It just is. I keep seeing on Twitter that people keep trying to justify it in their heads.
I'm glad you're not the only one that sees this shit.
Seriously, they try to justify it in their heads that this team is actually good. It's like they're not, and it's not a bad thing that they're bad. They're quote unquote rebuilding,
Right.
But granted, they've been doing that since 1957. So they are rebuilding. So this is going to be a bad football team. It's simple as that. And they're not going to win today. They're probably going to get their asses kicked. Leave it be.
They're going to get torched. They're going to get torched. Frank, you got anything on this one? I'll get into the fantasy aspect that I feel in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm absolutely not betting on this game, but I'm going with the Lions.
You're going with the Lions?
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not betting on it, but I'm going with the Lions.
Wow.
That's the most homer pick I can make.
Yeah.
I'm telling you straight up, I would never bet on this, but
Wow.
I'm going to root for the Lions.
I mean, rooting for them and thinking they're actually going to win are two different things, though, Frank. But I'll gloss over that.
I mean, I'm also the same guy who thinks he's got a shot with Taylor Swift, so I think of some pretty unreasonable shit sometimes.
Wow, do we want to dive into that one anymore, or we're just going to gloss over that one too? Okay, we're going to gloss
He's the
over
one
that
who
one.
wants to give me a full minute to talk about Hollywood every week.
I do.
Listen, we are definitely going to do that. It's going to be Frank's Hollywood Minute.
Yes.
And in this game, I think Trey Sermon is a guy that you think about playing as well, because I think they're going to be up in this game. I think they're going to get Trey Sermon worked into this game a little bit, but I'm playing Raheem Mostert in almost every one of my daily fantasy
As
leagues.
you should.
If
I am-
you don't and you own him, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, I'm not even talking about owning him, but if you own him and don't play him, you're stupid. If you're not playing him in daily, I think that's a dumb move
Yeah.
as well. I think he's going to run all over this Lions defense.
And I don't think he's going to be super expensive.
No, he's really not.
He's not going to be cheap because of the matchup, but I think you're going to be able to take a couple of dollars away from your running back position and put it somewhere else.
Now, I don't necessarily like this this passing game for the Niners today. Truthfully, only because I think they're gonna be up so much, they're gonna be running the ball so much. I think you could take a shot on Jimmy G in daily if you want. But I really don't like their wide receivers this week as well, because I don't think they're gonna be throwing a lot. So
No, I don't either.
Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, they're both good receivers, and George Kittle, if you drafted him, you're starting him. I don't expect big days out of them though.
No,
I just
either.
don't.
No.
This is a game I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see Trey Lance come in like the fourth quarter and play the entire
I could see
fourth.
that. I could absolutely see that happening. And, frankly, I kind of hope that happens.
I kind of do too. You know how I feel about that.
Yep.
On the Lions side of the ball, I don't think you play anybody. And I'm being honest here. I'm not being a hater. You have to see how this offense works out.
Maybe
And-
Hawkinson. Take a flyer on Hawkinson.
Maybe because
Yeah.
if you drafted Hawkinson, he's probably your starting tight end, so
Yeah.
you kind of have to play him probably. But DFS, I'm not playing anybody.
Right.
And if I have anybody else on this roster, I probably drafted him as a backup. Hopefully, Jared Goff is your backup quarterback, not your starter. If he is your starter, you're screwed this week, and probably all season long. And if you have any wide receivers for the Lions, you might as well just stop playing fantasy ever. Just don't ever play fantasy ever again. Amon-Ra St. Brown might have a few weeks during the year where he goes off and has some big games because they're
not gonna
throwing
be
so
this
much.
week.
But I don't believe this is the week it happens. And it's going to be so hard to determine what week it's going to happen. You're going to have a hard time deciding on that throughout the year, and you're going to screw yourself.
In all honesty, the only thing I see worth a damn right now on this Lions team as far as fantasy goes, specifically for this week, is Swift. And that's because of one simple thing, and that is the fact they're missing Taylor Decker. So I don't think Goff's going to be on his feet all that much. I think he's going to
Right.
be getting hit. So I think they're going to end up transitioning to a run game, even though they're going to be playing from behind the whole time. So I think you could get some garbage yards just from Swift and what he might be able to manage to put together today. Outside of that, there's not even a dim spot on this team. It's just pure blackness.
Yeah, it's not looking very good. Next matchup we're going to go to is the Jets, Jets, and the Panthers. This game is -3.5 for the
Not
Panthers.
sexy.
I was
No,
going to say, shit, this is the week of unsexy matchups.
Seriously.
-3.5 for the Panthers. 70% of the money's on that. 76% of the money's on the Panthers as far as money line goes. Over-unders over 45. If you're taking the over-under in the Jets and the Panthers game, again, go to Gamblers Anonymous.
Yeah, you definitely need some help on that one.
So, yeah.
This is one I want to watch, though. It is as unsexy of a matchup as it is.
It's got some intriguing matchups.
I want to see what Carolina is. I want to see what they do with Sam Darnold. I want to see what they do with the healthy CMC.
See, and on the opposite side of the ball, I agree with that. I want to see all that.
Yeah.
But on the opposite side of the ball, it's a good matchup for me, too. I want to see how it plays out. I want to see Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And see if I was right at the beginning when he got drafted, or see if I'm right now and saying that I was wrong when he got drafted and that he's going to be pretty good.
And we have at least a gratuitous 10 minutes of Zach Wilson's mom coming up.
Right.
So,
And you got the local guy, Salah, in coaching that team now.
Yeah.
And you've got Corey Davis, who honestly, if I have him in fantasy, I'm playing him in daily too. But
this
if I have him
dude
in my
could go
fantasy,
for
league,
150 yards a week.
he saw 50% of Zach
Yeah.
Wilson's throws in the preseason. Like if Zach Wilson was literally just targeting him nonstop. So
Just
yeah.
for our league,
Yeah.
you're aware he went undrafted.
Oh, I know. But
Like,
but again, in our
Now,
league, we don't have big
we have
benches,
a short bench.
So.
Yeah, we only have a 3-man bench.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for a wide receiver he's the number one wide receiver.
He's going to get targeted constantly.
He's got the talent to be one, and he's on a team that's going to have to throw the ball. He's on a team where he's already developed chemistry with a young quarterback, which is so important. I mean, you got Detroit fans. You saw what happened with Stafford and Calvin. Once you develop that chemistry, some guys get in such comfort zone, they're not going to go away from you.
Yeah. Well, and you look at the rest of this game. So Jamison Crowder's out with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Keelan Cole I believe has been ruled out or is questionable with a knee injury that he just suffered the other day.
Okay.
And then you got the rookie Elijah Moore. Corey Davis is
so
going to be
also have no wide receivers.
Corey Davis is
outside
going
of
to be
Corey
targeted.
Davis.
He's going to be targeted constantly in this game. And I see him having a pretty damn good week. I wouldn't touch the Jets backfield. You got Tevin Coleman, you got Ty Johnson, and you got Michael Carter, the rookie. As of right now, I wouldn't touch it. You wait to see how it plays out. Just wait to see how it plays out. I wouldn't go near that backfield today.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams that right now you've got to wait on, and they've got position battles that are going on. You've got to wait 3 or 4 weeks just to see what's going to come of it.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, you said it earlier about Detroit's wide receivers. I wouldn't even put one on your roster because I don't know who's going to emerge as the number one.
It's such a crapshoot trying to figure that out every week.
Like, yes, they're garbage, but on top of that, I don't know who's going to be the number one. Arizona's running backs we were talking about. We're talking about the running backs now in New York. There's just a few spots. This is week 1. Like, you've got to be patient with some of this shit.
That bromance is nauseating.
Oh, Stafford and Sean McVay?
Yeah.
Hey, did you know he's friends with Clayton Kershaw?
I did not.
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I just
found that out recently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just found that out.
Yeah,
recently.
wasn't he was the catcher for the high school baseball team?
I just recently heard that. So,
on the other side of the ball with Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, you start him.
well, obviously you started him, yes.
Right.
I was gonna
But
say,
again, for the people who, well, he's coming off an
I don't care.
injury-filled year.
I don't give a shit. Start
Exactly. You
I
start
don't
him.
care if he's coming off of a leg amputation. He's still the most talented dude they have on that team.
Right. And then Sam Darnold's one I wouldn't mind taking a flyer in daily on. I wouldn't play him in anything but maybe a 2-quarterback league if he's your second quarterback, best
Yeah.
option.
Yep.
I do think DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are intriguing plays today in every format. I think they might have good days. I lean more towards Robbie Anderson because he has that pre-existing thing with Sam Darnold. And then also this is sort of a revenge game for both of them.
Yeah.
But DJ Moore is being touted more by the experts than Robbie Anderson. I'm just more on the Robbie Anderson train as far as that one goes. But I think you can roll them both out there and feel confident about them.
Yes. Yeah. I dig it.
So
Even though it's a game I have no interest in whatsoever.
that's all right.
Like you said, it's not a sexy matchup.
not a sexy matchup.
It's a football nerd matchup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is something where
And I'm a football nerd.
when you look at it on paper, you're like, this is
Like this
garbage.
is a game that like the idiots who watch the Pro Bowl are like
Oh yeah.
into like 100%.
Yeah.
And
So, well, I don't watch the Pro Bowl, but I'm that
I
nerd.
watch the shit out of the Pro Bowl
I don't ever watch the
just
Pro Bowl
because it's football.
but I'm a nerd when it comes to football. I'm just a nerd. The next matchup is very sexy, in my opinion. The Chargers in Washington.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm into
I
that game.
really think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
This line has now moved to -2 for Washington.
okay.
And
I'm not touching that game.
see,
No.
and our
No.
I will tell you our betting expert Dan Yangham. This is one of his picks. He said what he would put 1 unit on Washington football -1.
Okay.
Now it's up to -2 now.
Yeah.
One
So
unit?
yeah, 1 unit.
Okay.
Which that's a betting term.
I know.
Unit.
Like whatever chunks you would bet in. Say you bet in
Right.
$10 increments,
I know.
you would bet $10 on it.
Right.
So
I know that. I
Okay.
just thought it was funny you said it.
you just like the fact that I said the word unit.
Unit.
Yeah.
Unit.
With that being said, I actually agree with him here. This line has moved in this direction for a reason. The Washington football team, I believe, takes this game. -2 or -2 is getting a little richer, but I think I would still take that. I did take them yesterday at -1.
I agree with you, Joe. I think Washington will win this game. To cover, eesh. I wouldn't touch this game. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I do think Washington will win the game. So,
This is a game where if we had San Diego, if we had Los Angeles on offense and Washington on defense the entire game, I'd be just as happy watching that because I think that's going to be your highlights.
Oh,
there.
absolutely,
LA's offense, Joe's talked about it the entire time. what are they without Anthony Lynn? Anthony Lynn's gone. He's done fucking this offense up. Now what can they be? And Washington's defense has just been trending up for the last 2 years almost.
And this is getting into fantasy now. Based on that, is this is one of those weeks where if you drafted Justin Herbert, you're starting him. But it's a questionable start.
It is.
Because you drafted him so high, you kind of have to start him unless you have a viable backup.
I was just going to say, it depends on who your
Right.
backup
It
is.
depends on who your backup is. If your backup is a guy like Matt Ryan, I'm rolling Matt Ryan.
Oh,
out there.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If your backup is a guy like Jalen Hurts and you got that kind of a steal, I'm rolling out Jalen Hurts. But if you drafted him high and he's your best viable option, you have to play him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect much though.
No.
This is a very, very difficult matchup. And
It
Frank,
is.
you and I talked about this. I drafted Herbert in the one league you and I are in together, and I questioned whether to pick up another quarterback to play in his spot this week, and I didn't.
Because he's going to be, and it's going to be this way for a couple weeks this year. He's going to be better than a matchup quarterback, but he's not quite a no-brainer start.
Well, and this is such a tough matchup.
Yeah, it is.
I truly believe that Washington defense is going to be
It's going to be top 3 defense in the
Yeah.
league.
I was going to say
Yeah.
they could be better than Tampa's defense last year.
Yeah, and with that said, so you got guys like Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, who is hurt already with a hamstring injury. He was trending towards playing, but check to see if he's been.
You might wanna
actually, Frank, do you have a second?
I've got
I
it
think,
right here.
okay, because I think the injury reports are for the day are coming out right about now.
I have all of them up already.
Okay, yeah, because they start releasing inactives at about 11:30. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if Austin Eckler plays, if he's in the lineup for the Chargers, he's in your lineup. He has to.
Eckler questionable, Trey Marshall safety out, Ryan Smith cornerback injured reserve. That is their only injuries listed.
They should be releasing the active inactives today, very soon.
Yeah.
And check your actives inactives. I believe, in my opinion, if Austin Eckler's in their lineup,
From
he's
the
in your
looks of
lineup.
things, they're one of the few teams who haven't released theirs fully.
I think
at this point.
I think that's exactly why they're trying to wait as long as they possibly
trying
can.
to let him
but-
test that hamstring out to
Yep.
see if he go. If he's a go for them, he's a go for you. You drafted him high, you drafted him in the first or early second round. You have to play him. I would question playing Williams or Keenan Allen. But, play at your own risk, I guess. I wouldn't touch Jared Cook in this game, who's their tight end. So,
I didn't realize Indy was without T.Y. Hilton this week.
yeah, he's on injured reserve, actually.
Yeah.
We talked about that, Frank.
We
I
did.
know.
But I mean, if you're looking at the other side of the ball,
Yeah.
with the Redskins, start Antonio Gibson. I think that dude's gonna go off,
I could not agree more.
especially with McLaurin on the other side of him. I
Yep.
think that dude's gonna go off today.
Yep.
100% start that dude.
Again, being a football nerd, I'm really interested to see what Washington's offense has.
Chris, it's funny you say that. I have Antonio Gibson ranked as my 5th best running back for the week,
There
and
you
that
go.
that will not always happen. He's very good, but that will not always happen.
Right.
He has a cake matchup this week. This is a very, very, very good matchup for him because he does receive the ball in the backfield as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's my number one
Yeah.
in one of my 2 leagues.
Okay.
So,
That's you can't complain about that. And actually, I would play if you got Fitzpatrick. I don't know if I necessarily play him, but this is a good matchup for him. And I do love Terry McLaurin in this game. I think he's going to have a very big game. Curtis Samuel's already been ruled out. He's on IR. And their other wide receiver, I can't even name the other wide receiver. He's a rookie, I believe. I should be able to name him, but his name is escaping me right now. But they do have Logan Thomas, who's a very good tight end. So I think you roll out Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas. If you have a tough quarterback matchup and Fitzpatrick is your backup, I think you go ahead and trot him out there this week. Fitzpatrick is a good daily fantasy guy, maybe. But yeah, Antonio Gibson to me, Chris, you hit it right on the head. He's a guy. Expect big things this week.
yeah, 100%.
Next matchup is one I've been looking forward to, and it's the Browns and the Chiefs.
Sexy.
Very sexy.
This is a sexy matchup.
Yes.
This is good. We can get some insight from you then, because you like commenting on sexy matchups. This fucking
You want my first comment? First thing that I saw looking at these the injury report.
Yeah.
OBJ questionable.
Yep.
Be the best thing for that offense if he doesn't play. I'm still a firm believer that in the situation with him and Baker Mayfield, Baker forcing himself to throw to OBJ was part of their problem
And
on
the
offense.
numbers actually bear that out, too.
Yeah.
If you
They-
actually look at the numbers, it bears that out.
They do, and last year when this happened, we talked about it was a few weeks into the injury, and I came out and basically said, Baker Mayfield is going to benefit from this, and he did. Now I question whether that benefit will last. So if the benefit lasts and he got used to playing without OBJ, and now when OBJ steps in there, he doesn't feel he needs to force the ball to him, he's just going to play naturally, then that's great because OBJ can still get the job done.
To allow them to redevelop chemistry.
Yeah.
And a situation where it's not being forced.
Right.
Like if OBJ's on your roster, especially being a younger quarterback like Baker Mayfield, I totally understand why you're forcing the ball to him.
Right.
He's one of the best receivers, or was one of the best receivers at that time. He had possibly the sexiest catch of all time. Like, the guy's just a highlight reel.
Yeah.
But on the flip, when you start forcing everything to him and you're trying to feed that offense directly through one guy, it doesn't work.
Well, forcing your offense to go through anybody is never a smart move. It's just not. And that's what was happening with OBJ on that team. And then I want to throw the betting out here real quick. It's a -5.5 for the Chiefs here. 61% of the money's on that. 85% of the money's on the Chiefs to win money line, which I can't even argue with that. I really can't. I'm over and unders over 54.5. 72% of the money's on that.
Give me the Browns.
I will tell you,
Give the Browns
that's what I'm thinking.
Give me the Browns getting the points.
I will tell you, our betting expert said Chiefs -5.5 for 3 units. He was very
high on that game.
He was very confident on the Chiefs being prepared for this game.
Okay.
I have a hard time going against his betting advice because he is so good at what he does.
Yeah.
But I tend to lean with you guys on this one. And honestly, maybe it's because I'm wearing the Cleveland Browns shirt right now and I'm a fan. I do give them a shot to win this game. Is it a 50-50 shot? I don't necessarily think so. But my heart might say take Cleveland in this game and just hope you win some good money on it because they do have a chance to win this game. They have a very, very good roster from top to bottom.
Yep.
And if that defense, if the retooling on that defense is what I think it is and what the coaching staff thinks it is, they're going to be much better than you saw last year, and they were damn good last year.
And Chris, I think you hit it on Tuesday, and that is the fact that the Chiefs have played so much football in the last 2 years.
Shit, 3 years for that matter.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to be a bad football team because I think they're going to be an absolutely fantastic team.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see a team at 100% every week, though.
No.
And I think this week might be one where they pull a Notre Dame and play down to their competition. Not that playing against Cleveland is playing down by any means.
Right.
But that
I
could get
just
you
think
beat.
Kansas City is such a great team.
Right.
They're going to play a little bit less than 100%.
Right.
And I honestly think Cleveland can squeak this game out. It's a trap game, but it's so hard to call it a trap game with week 1.
Right.
Fantasy-wise, I think you start Nick Chubb with confidence that Chiefs' run defense was not good last year, and if it's not much improved, they're going to still be able to run the ball. And Cleveland's going to run the ball down your throat no matter who you are.
Yep.
So they're going to be their bread and butter this year. I'd start Nick Chubb. I would start Kareem Hunt if you had him. Baker's a sneaky option because I think this is a shootout, and Baker's a sneaky option to play here. Maybe just in DFS, but if you have him on your roster, and depending on what your other option is at quarterback, maybe you play him. I don't really necessarily like any of the receivers in this game because I think he spreads the ball around pretty well in this one. So I don't necessarily think any receiver really stands out as I would want to start them. But Baker's a sneaky play here for me on that side of the ball.
In all honesty, like sitting here thinking about it, I was thinking about taking a daily team and putting Baker as my quarterback. When a quarterback is playing for respect, they play a different type of football. And that's what Baker's doing at this point. Like, he's proven, I mean, Joe tells us weekly, the numbers. He's proven the numbers are there. At this point, he's just playing for respect. So, honestly, he could ball out. And it plays into exactly what you had said a couple weeks ago, Chris. I'm not calling him the MVP, but it could be that type of year.
I can see it happening 100%.
Other side of the ball, I think with those guys, any of the big guys on the other side, you're starting them.
Oh, yeah. Like Tyreek.
You CEH,
Pat, yeah.
Tyreek, Travis, Mahomes.
Yep.
Like, you're starting all those guys.
Yep.
I can't tell you anything different than that. Like, start your guys. And another fringe start that I kind of like on the Cleveland side of the ball is I do like Austin Hooper as a tight end this week. None of those receivers really stand out as maybe going to have a huge game because I think Baker spreads the ball around. But I think Austin Hooper could be a sneaky play at your tight end spot.
Right.
That could get you a touchdown, maybe 50, 60 yards. Which is well worth it in the tight end position.
Solid.
Next up, we're going to go with Green Bay and the Saints. Smart money is all over Green Bay in this game. It's minus 3.5. Over is 49.5. 83% of the money is on that. 90% of the money is on Green Bay to just win outright, along with 85% on the minus 3.5.
Green Bay easy cover. Aaron Rodgers is on a warpath.
I was going to say the warpath starts today.
And again, like we talked about earlier, the game it's a neutral site game. It's not in the Superdome because they had to move it because of the hurricane. And it's playing in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, I personally think
Yeah, that's the middle.
I think Green Bay just destroys them in this game.
Yeah, I think this is a beatdown, and then you got Captain Crablegs, who I think honestly I don't think he'll have a solid game. I do. I think Jameis will have. A solid
he's
game.
going to have to throw all game long. He might have a couple picks in there, but
Yeah.
he's probably going to put up like 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. If you're in a league that doesn't take away for interceptions, it's great. If you're in a league that takes away for interceptions, maybe not as great.
No, he
but
can see now. He got LASIK.
Yeah, he got
can see
LASIK.
now.
Yeah, he's still going to throw interceptions, bro. I don't care how well he can see. He's still going to throw the.
Never mind.
You don't go from 30 interceptions to like none because you weren't wearing glasses.
I don't know, man. As somebody who wears glasses when they ain't on, I
Well-
can't see shit.
Actually, you're right because technically I'm fucking blind without my glasses on.
I've tried to play hockey, and I have passed plenty of times the wrong team without my glasses on.
Nice.
I think on the Green Bay side of the ball, you're playing Aaron Jones. You're playing A.J. Dillon.
Devontae.
Yeah, you're playing Devontae Adams.
yeah.
Like that's happening. You're playing Aaron Rodgers. A.J. Dillon is a sneaky play for me, but I still would play him because I think they get up so much in this game that he ends up coming into the game over Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, you have to play him. I would maybe not expect a great game for him. I think they throw in this game, and when they get up, they bring in the backup. They bring in A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones will be involved, but it's not necessarily the best matchup for him that you're going to see throughout the year.
So, question. What do you think of Randall Cobb in this matchup?
I think he is not even worth my time
Okay.
of talking about him. No offense.
No,
he's just so far past what he was when he was in Green Bay before.
I just look at him and go, is Rodgers going to use him just to prove a point?
Yeah,
You never know.
I think you would.
And that's exactly what I think's about to happen. I'm questioning playing him as a flex in a DFS just out of the fact that he may get these catches
I think
out of spite.
I think he would use them a lot in the red zone.
I think
I think he could be used just out of spite.
Yeah.
I think DFS. I think that's a sneaky smart play.
Yeah, I'm not starting him,
yeah.
but throw him in as a flex. He's worth a gamble.
I think DFS is a sneaky smart play. I think another sneaky smart play would be Marquez Callaway. Because I think they throw the ball so much in this game that Marquez Callaway, being the number one there, is going to get a lot of targets. He's going to get the majority of those targets. He's going
Right.
and he's a good deep threat. And we all know if Jameis can throw anything well, he throws a deep ball well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He throws a good deep ball. He proved that when he was throwing to Mike Evans. He just necessarily doesn't make all the other throws very well. So he's a sneaky play for me in this
It's
one.
about to be a real rough
And,
weekend for Jameis.
And of course, Alvin Kamara, don't even fucking question it. You throw him in the game.
Honestly, I don't. I think James is going to have a solid day. I do. Green Bay's defense still is not very good.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State loses to Jacksonville yesterday. He's definitely getting an ass kicking today. Like, I'm not saying that he's going to have a bad game. I'm just.
I think
saying,
he'll have
he's-
an absolutely solid game today.
He's
I do.
he's going to end up pretty fucked up by the end of this.
Right.
And I don't have a lot of faith in New Orleans doing a whole lot.
That's fair.
All right, next matchup is Denver and the Giants. And Denver is giving away 3 in this game. 71% of the money is on that.
Another unsexy matchup.
Not sexy.
80% of the money's on Denver to win this game. And I will tell you that our betting expert, Dan Yangham, had minus 2.5 Broncos for 3 units. He's very confident in that one. It's up to minus 3 right now. So it shows the money's going in that direction that he was taking. And I actually did take the Broncos myself.
I agree with Dan as well. I would absolutely take the Broncos laying the 3, 100%. I don't think the Giants are good at all. I think the team is kind of fractured a little bit. I am curious to see, is Saquon playing today?
I believe so.
He is
Let
playing.
me.
'Cause I know they were
Pulling
waiting
it up
to-
right here.
Yeah.
It says he's playing and he's potentially on a snap count.
Okay.
So basically, they're going to limit his time. When I look at this game overall, I think the Broncos are a great play on the defensive side of the ball. I think you take the Broncos defense in this game with confidence.
Yeah.
I think you're playing DFS. They're going to be one of the better defenses to take. Other than I took the Niners in almost all of mine. I did take Carolina in some of them as well, but I Broncos, Carolina, and San Francisco are my three that I've taken more of this week.
Okay.
Offense, I think Teddy Bridgewater it fares well, but not well enough to play in fantasy.
No.
He's gonna be a guy that's not gonna turn the ball over. He's gonna be better reality wise than fantasy wise. And on that side of the ball, I think Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy might be sneaky plays. I'm staying away from that backfield a little bit until I see how it works out.
I don't like anybody in this game fantasy wise at all.
Yeah, well, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, you got to see how that plays out to me. And you're right. This game doesn't necessarily come across as a great fantasy matchup wise.
Yeah,
period.
It doesn't.
I think we all kind of tend to agree that Broncos are gonna handle this game, but it's like how will they handle it and how will fantasy shake out?
Right.
Is another one that is a question mark. And Saquon, you drafted him high, you have to play him, but I wouldn't expect much. He's on snap count, and I'm not playing anybody else on that side of the ball. I'm not playing anybody from the Giants. Nobody.
Nope. Yeah, I don't.
In one of my leagues, I had drafted Kenny Galladay, but I can't find it in me to really put him in.
Isn't he hurt again?
At first, I haven't seen anything. He's not listed as injured on the fantasy site. I have ESPN for that league. But just looking at it, like I've said numerous times over the last 2 years that I have no faith in Daniel Jones. I think Danny Dimes is the biggest joke in the league at this point, to be honest with you. But I just don't see anything there.
No. Well, and when you look at this matchup too, you see Kenny Galladay and Darius Slayton. They draw the combo of Kyle Fuller and Patrick Surtain II. So that's not the best matchup in the world, folks. Like I'm just not going near this. I wouldn't touch this game on that side of the ball.
We got two things real quick. Shefty just updated 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Niners running back Trey Sermon out today.
Oh,
So Mostert's gonna.
gonna
Hold
have
on.
a huge.
Hold
day.
on. Zach Moss also out.
Oh wow,
All right.
that's a weird one for me. All right.
All right.
Yeah, that's actually a surprise.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew, for that one.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate the update. All right. Next matchup is the Dolphins and the Patriots. -3.5 for the Patriots. 64% of the money's on that. 57% of the money's on them to win money line. Over under, I wouldn't touch that in this game. It's at 43.5.
Ooh.
Any thoughts on that before we get into fantasy, boys?
Where's the game? It's in New England.
It is in New England. Yes.
Okay. I like the Dolphins in this one. Mac Jones' first game, starting. Against a solid team, against a solid defense.
Yeah.
I would take the Dolphins in this one.
I love the Dolphins season long. I just can't bring myself to take them in this game. I really don't want to touch this game betting wise, but if I were to pick in like a pool, I'd be torn. But I would probably take the Patriots just because of the home field advantage.
Okay.
That's really, and that's what that 3.5 point spread says to me is they're getting home field advantage. It's really kind of a toss up game.
Yep.
I personally would take the Patriots because they're at home, but
And you're a Patriots fan.
but see, I take that out of it though. Like when it comes to picking,
I know you do.
Yeah, when it comes to picking, I have to take that out of it. And I am a Patriots fan, but you know how much I love that Dolphins team, man.
I do.
Like they really are a fun team, and I really think they got some good things going for them. But I would just take the home team. That's just my.
I think this is definitely the 4:30 game that I watch.
Yeah. Well, for me, it'll be KC Cleveland, but
this will be the one that's on. And I'll flip back
Yeah.
and forth probably between those two.
fantasy wise, we're looking at Tua. I don't necessarily take him in this game. I do think he's going to do some good things reality wise over the season and maybe even today. I don't necessarily play him fantasy yet. See how that shakes out. Myles Gaskin is an interesting play. He averaged 18.9 opportunities and 16.4 fantasy points per game, PPR. When he played last year, he's intriguing an intriguing option. I wouldn't touch any of those wide receivers yet, though, because you don't know how that's going to play out with Tua, who he's going to throw to. He's got Will Fuller, who's out for this game, but he's got Preston Williams, Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle. Like, I don't know who to take.
Is Will Fuller ever fucking healthy?
Well, no, he's out because of PEDs.
Oh,
He's suspended.
Really?
He's suspended for the first game of the
He
season,
was using steroids.
and still couldn't stay healthy.
I don't like really like any fantasy matchup in this game other than maybe starting the Patriots defense. That's probably the only one I'd even remotely
See,
look
and
at.
I would lean towards possibly even the Miami defense as well. I think both defenses in here are a play. I would agree with that. I think they're both options. I think this might be a low-scoring game, which is why that 43.5 is such a small over.
Yep.
I really wouldn't play anybody in this matchup until I see how it shakes out. I really just don't like anybody really in this matchup. I think both
neither do I.
defenses are going to be solid, and it's going to be kind of a low-scoring, feel-them-out game for both sides.
Yep. I would absolutely agree with that. So that's why I said that's literally the only. If you want to start somebody from this game, like I said, maybe the Patriots defense. Other than that, I wouldn't start anybody.
All right, next up is the Sunday night game, the Bears and the Rams. This game is at -8 right now. 74% of the money is on the Rams, -8. Over-unders at 46.5. 65% of the money is on the under. And 95% of the money is on Rams money line. Anything else before we get into fantasy?
Finally see what Stafford can do.
I know Stafford doesn't have a very good record against the Bears, but again, it was in a different uniform in one of the worst organization in professional sports. I think that changes now. I think they win. And I think they cover too.
I'm leaning towards the cover myself. I'm not as confident, but I was leaning towards the cover myself. So I kind of am on the same. Same
I don't think he's going to have a great game by any means because Chicago's defense is solid. But I do think the Rams win the game, and I believe they cover.
Yeah.
For me, it's difficult because you know how much I fucking hate Chicago.
Yes.
And what I feel about Justin Fields.
What?
But on the other hand, like I look at Matt Stafford, and I've said this about Stafford, and that is, I'm not sold that he is what everybody says he is. I think he's talented.
Yeah.
I think he's way more talented than we saw here in Detroit. I don't think he's this potential Super Bowl quarterback that people are putting him up there to be.
That's fair.
I feel like the Rams will cover, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if Chicago's defense just picks Stafford apart.
I could see that.
I've seen it happen a million times, and I'm not completely sold that it doesn't happen again.
I could see that as well. Honestly, I can't. But here's the issue, and this is why I still think the Rams will not only win the game and cover. Dude, Matt Nagy. I'm sorry, he's like Adam Gase to me.
Yeah.
Like that dude is a fucking idiot.
No, he's on that. He's on that playing field.
Yeah, he is.
He's on that playing field. I agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm sticking to that pick.
And in this game, I really don't think I take anybody on the Bears fantasy-wise. It's a scary matchup.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a low-scoring matchup, but also the Rams are supposed to win by more than 8 points. So a low-scoring matchup, Rams winning by 8 as far as the books go.
Mm-hmm.
That means Bears aren't set to score many points.
I would absolutely start that defense though.
Oh, 100%. I'm starting the Bears defense.
No, the Rams.
Oh, the Rams. Yeah,
100%.
So I might even trend on starting the Bears if I had them in this matchup, depending on what your other matchups are. But the Rams defense, for sure, I'm starting that. And actually, I'm rolling with Darrell Henderson. If you have him in your lineup, or if you want to play him in daily, throw him out there because they're probably going to run quite a bit. They're going to be up in the game. He might even get the one and only touchdown that the Rams get in this game, besides some field goals. Or he might get one of the 2 touchdowns they get. I'd roll Darrell Henderson out there pretty confidently because Sony Michel is still behind the 8 ball on learning that offense. Mm-hmm. So for the first few weeks, it's still going to be Darrell Henderson carrying that rock.
And you want a sneaky start, Cooper Kupp.
See, I would roll with Robert Woods, but I kind of like them both.
I'm starting Woods.
Yeah, I like Robert Woods in this game a lot. I like Robert Woods over the year long. I think in one of our leagues, Dave got a steal by getting him with in that auction league. But in this game, there's not going to be a lot of throwing, not going to be a ton of throwing, but I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are sneaky plays both to maybe get 60 yards and a TD. One of them will
loves his slot guy.
Yeah, one of them will get a TD in this game. I think Henderson gets the other one if they score another one. It's not going to be a ton of scoring, but sneaky plays there.
Yep.
All right, next matchup, if you guys are good with moving on.
Yeah.
Next matchup is the Ravens and the Raiders.
Give me the Ravens. I don't care how fucked up their backfield is.
So, yeah, the Ravens are -4. 77% of the money's on that, and 82% of the money is on them winning outright.
And give me the Ravens to cover as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Lamar Jackson has a day.
I have him rated as the number 1 quarterback
Fair
this
enough.
week.
I think he has a day.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree with you because I have him rated as the number 1 quarterback this week myself. Yep. So I think, he's just it's highly unlikely that the Raiders defense has done anything much more than they've done last year to stop him.
Right.
I think he's just going to ball out in this game. He's going to ball out. And a sneaky play for me on that side of the ball is Tyson Williams. I know they signed 3 other running backs. They signed Devontae Parker. Or no, Devontae Freeman. Devontae Freeman. They signed Le'Veon Bell, and they signed Latavius Murray. Murray's the only one on the active roster right now. He might get a little run today, or tomorrow. But Tyson Williams is a sneaky play. If you have him on your roster, if you got him to fill in for Gus Edwards because you drafted him, or if you want to go with him in daily. Tyson Williams is one guy that I've gone with in a lot of daily leagues because he's so damn cheap, and he's the starting running back for a run-first offense that is going against the Raiders. I would play him if I had him in leagues and in daily. No problems.
Yep.
This matchup for me boils down to one person, and it's such a random person to say, but it's Yannick Ngakoue. And it's simply, does he change that defense to the degree that they're hoping he does?
I don't think he does.
If he does, it could be a really long day for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Because that is a nasty D-line if he ends up being what they hope he is. But
yeah, it's a crapshoot though. Will that happen? I don't know.
Right.
I tend to believe it. I'm with Chris on this one. It won't. It didn't. It won't. At least not in this game.
Right.
I think Lamar just tears up in this game, and that run offense just tears up. Period. I think I would take that run offense all day.
The thing I question the most with him, though, is the fact that this is Baltimore that they're playing, and he kind of has a sour taste in his mouth from what had gone on over there. So, it gives you a little bit of fuel. That stuff does fuel a player to play a little bit better than they normally do. I don't know if the Raiders can sneak out a win because I think the Ravens have the potential to be that good of a team. But, I'll be rooting for them.
Right.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
Well, and I think on that side of the ball, I think I take Darren Waller. You play him no matter what. I think he has a huge...
He's a must-play. Josh Jacobs is a must-play.
I don't see that.
I really see him as a must-play.
I don't. I see Kenyon Drake as a sneaky play, but Jacobs is already banged up. Kenyon Drake is there to take away some more passing downs from him. I do not like Josh Jacobs this year. I stayed away from him in every league, and you know how I love the kid himself. I love the player. I don't like the situation with the Raiders. I don't like what Gruden has done with his situation. To me, it's more about Gruden than it is about Josh Jacobs. And Jacobs is banged up already. So for me, I stay away from him this week. I didn't like him in year long. And Kenyon Drake is a sneaky play for me because they're going to have to pass a lot. And Kenyon Drake is going to kind of play out as they're passing down back, which is why I love Waller in this game. I think you've got to start him anyway, but Waller's going to have a big game. And I think Kenyon Drake is a sneaky play, for my opinion. Again, just my opinion. Frank, you got yours, and obviously you like Josh Jacobs in this game. I'm just explaining why I don't like him.
I get it. And you are and not saying that I know nothing about fantasy, but you are the expert. You are the one who studies this stuff. I know more than the average person.
You know more than you give yourself credit for.
Right. But at the same time, you're the one who does the research into all of this. So when you give an opinion, I even put more weight into your opinion than I do my own when it comes to fantasy.
Well, I don't know if I've hit that level yet.
I'm not putting you on ESPN's level or something. Well, you are better than some of those. Guys.
I was gonna say some of them. I'll even put myself on that level with some of them. But all right. So we actually we timed this perfectly because we hit noon.
Nice,
right on the dot.
Nice.
Anything else you want to get into before we get out of here, boys? I think it was a great first show.
Yeah.
I loved doing this with you guys. I can't tell you how geeked I was sitting here. and doing Sports on Tap Game Day with you guys.
Yeah, it was a good
on
time.
Sunday morning.
It's the first time I've been up in the morning in a long time and didn't absolutely hate my life for it. So
It was
I had a fucking
fantastic.
blast.
This was fun. I really hope everybody out there had as much fun as we did and appreciated not only the show and what we had to say, but the advice that we can possibly give you to help you out in your
We
fantasy
hope it works
teams
out for
betting.
you.
Absolutely,
For real.
absolutely. We hope it works out for you. And if it doesn't, don't hold it against us. With that being said, I'm gonna go get myself another Bloody Mary and head home to watch some football.
Yep.
And I think you boys are.
I recommend you do that in reverse order.
Yes, that's what I'm. You're right. I'm gonna do, it is gonna be reverse order. 'Cause
Right.
And trust me, I only had one sitting here for the entire time I was here, so it's not like I'm drinking and driving. But I'm gonna continue to have a Bloody Mary every show we do because I just enjoyed that thoroughly. So that's gonna happen.
I mean,
Sunday mornings with a
It was
Bloody
probably
Mary
a
doing
lot
football.
cooler when we'd go to a studio and they had like the whole bar set up.
Oh, that was sweet.
Chris does an all right job with it.
Allison did a fantastic job of helping me with
did
getting my
she?
Bloody
She
Mary
did help
ready.
you?
Yeah, and Noonan helped as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So, with that said, that does it for the very first edition of Sports on Tap Game Day. Join us every Sunday at 10:30 for Sports on Tap Game Day, and every Tuesday at 7 o'clock for our regular Sports on Tap Detroit show. All right. With that being said, we're out. Enjoy football Sunday. Happy Sunday Fun Day.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no!
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
We've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.